I'm genuinely, yeah, I'm going to rely on you. Titshela amandla ndophelelwa. Like I'm at the end of me. I'm literally at the end of me. Lord, help me. Help me. Help me. Help me, Lord. Help me. Help me. Just help me. Help me get through this. Help me get through this day. Just help me. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Disciple Thoughts. I am your host, Mponda. Now, starting off with the first name of God, that in Genesis 17:1, it reads, "When Abraham was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to Abraham and said to him, I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless." Now, in the Hebrew translation, the God Almighty means El Shaddai. So we are very familiar with this name. And when you look at the interpretation, what this means is that at its core, it just means him being powerful, all powerful. You know, he has supreme power over everything and anything. That's what it means. What I found interesting about this passage is that God felt the need to, because number one was, maybe let me give context. This is not the first encounter God is having with Abraham, whatever, it's the same person, with Abraham, but this was before he was Abraham, so it's fine, let me stick to Abraham. This is not the first encounter. Chapters before this, God was walking with him. That's first. That's why I found this interesting, that why was he introducing is not the right word, but why was he making himself known to Abram as the God Almighty? Yeah, like why did he find it necessary for him to really, lack of a better word, introduce, but that's not the right word because this is not their first encounter. But anyway, he does it anyway, right? And so I started reading this with understanding, right? After that, after he says, I'm the God Almighty, he says that walk before me and be blameless. I think that God found the need to introduce himself or to make himself known to Abraham because he was calling Abraham into a life that was fully devoted to him. He says that walk before me and be blameless. I think God himself understood that the life that he wants Abraham to live needs Abraham to have an understanding, to know that indeed I'm a powerful God. At this point, Abraham is 99, and God had promised that he's going to be a father of nations. Yet Abraham does not even have a son of his own with his wife Sarah. But he's 99. But God already has laid a promise that you are going to be a father of many descendants. And so this was necessary for God to make himself known, to reassure Abraham. And so I think that's what I'm finding the most interesting, that he himself, God, understood that in order for him to call Abraham into a life that is fully devoted to him, God, he needed God to remind Abraham who he was. He needed to reassure Abraham who he was for Abraham to be able to walk faithfully, to be able to be blameless before him. For him to be able to go, sacrifice his son, that's because he already had an understanding. God made himself known to Abraham for him to walk in obedience. Ooh. And so we see that really what obedience needs is us to know the true character of God. Is us to have an understanding of who he is. I love how consistent my messaging is that it's only when you know him that you are able to walk with him. I keep on saying that, with the Getting to Know series, is that I kept on saying that when we understand the position of Jesus, it places our position. That defines our position. We cannot define our identity. We cannot define our position without identifying his. And so this is what God is doing here. He wants Abraham to walk a life that is blameless, to walk a life that is faithful to him. But he first needs to make it known that he's a powerful God. Yes, you are 99. But because I am powerful, he was able to actually have those many descendants. And so living a life of obedience only needs us to know God. That's all it requires. To know that he is the Almighty. To know that he is the shepherd. Like God's character is the only thing that keeps us. His character is the only thing that makes us have faith. That makes us have hope. I can assure you that you cannot live a life that is holy unto God without him, without knowing him. And so if God found it necessary for him to make it known to Abraham so that he can live a life that is obedient, fully dedicated to him, who are we to not know God first? Who are we to not meditate on his character first before we think of walking with him faithfully? Because it's one thing to walk, it's another to do it faithfully. Hey! And fortunately for us, we have everything that we need to know God, and that is his word. This is the only thing that keeps us in constant relationship with him. His word is the only thing that keeps us in this journey. I can testify with that. His word is the only thing that can make us endure. His word is the only thing that can push us to be a living sacrifice. And so God today is saying that I am powerful. Where is that positioning us? When he introduced him, when he made it known to Abraham that he was powerful, it came with him calling Abraham into a life of obedience. And so that is the same calling, I think, that God is calling us into. To live a life that is blameless before him, to live faithfully, to serve him faithfully. But that is only possible if we really meditate on the fact that he is powerful. Abraham had the son at, was it 99? I don't know at what age. But he had that son, Isaac, because of God's power. Because of that power. That was possible. The promise that God gave to Abraham was possible because of his power. I'm saying all of that to say that think part of the reason why the promises that God has promised us do not come to fruition is because of the calling that we are not adhering to. Because again, it needed faith for him. Abraham needed to believe that indeed he was going to have the son. So that is him living a life of being that is being faithful. And it was through his faithfulness that God's promise came into fruition. He believed that God is powerful, and therefore he became a father of many nations. What are you not, or rather, what is not coming to fruition because you are not believing who God is, because you are not meditating on who God is? Woo! What is not coming to fruition? Because he's already made himself known to us. He's already made himself known. And in him making us known, he has given us a calling. Could it be that we are not adhering to the calling, hence there is no fruit? Guys, that is it from me today. I hope that blessed you, and I hope to see you next week. I hope this one's recorded.